Well, what's up, man? This is Scott Chase, host of the Radio Ranch Cast. I'm moving around. I'm kind of getting in the zone because we had that Labor Day long weekend. How was it for you? Did you have a little time off, spend with your family, friends, hang out, listen to the block party on KZ, that end of the summer special we had with Steve Gorman? All good stuff. Just things we do here at 821 Pineville Road and things we've been doing since the summer of 1978. I, of course, arrived in 85, and 20 years ago, our guest today on the Radio Ranch Cast actually made her first appearance at the Radio Ranch here on 821 Pineville Road as an intern. We're going to talk to Deanna Roberts, who is now escalated and moved herself up the corporate ladder to now director of sales. Kelly McCoy, who has been with me since the very beginning, joins me here in the Radio Ranch Cast studio. How you doing, Kelly? What's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Good Labor Day weekend for you, I hope.
Absolutely. I didn't labor much, and that's the whole plan.
Oh, it is, man. Yeah, you had slipped a rib or two into your diet over the weekend. Cookouts are good. Cookouts are good on a Labor Day weekend. Dodger is also here. He joins us. He's our technomaniac, among other things, here at the radio station. And
that's what they call me this week.
Technomaniac. We're gonna put that. And your business card is going to be like that big. It's going to be
long, or is it going to be? In fact,
I have to make the print a whole lot smaller.
Accordion, you just whip it out and then
it just falls. Yeah, it's going to be very
let's
extensive.
Get our guest in here today. Let's get our guest Deanna Roberts. How are you? What's going on with you, you director of sales? You son of a gun.
I'm good. I'm doing really well after that nice long weekend.
It was. It's always good. Weekends are good.
They are. They're never long enough. They're better when they're one day longer, though.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Well, we just wanted to, what this is, basically, it's the history of how things have happened at KZ 106, not only KZ, but WGOW-AM, the two that we had to begin with in 1978. Then we acquired other frequencies, 102.3 and 107.9. We now have a couple of talk stations on AM and FM in the building, and we have a country station at 107.9 along with KZ. Now, when you got here 20 years ago, we already had the complement of 4 at that point, didn't we? Yes.
We already had 4 radio stations. It was not country at that time; it was oldies, but everything else was the same as it is now.
And how did you choose our building to do your internship when you were at UTC? How did you? Because Kelly and I were here, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I love classic rock music. No, I grew up listening to classic rock music, and I actually have a picture in my office. Of course, we're never in the office anymore, but with me with some big old headphones on when I was 18 months old. And I always say then that I was destined for radio. Little did I know I was not going to be on the audio side. I was going to be on the sales side. But I went to UTC and was in the communications department, and we had several adjunct professors at that point in time. And one of them was Mr. Chuck Wilkins, who used to be our market manager. And I always knew I wanted to be in advertising. I assumed that it would be on the creative side at an agency in Atlanta or something like that. And when I was at school, he came in and talked about radio and the theater of the mind and the power of radio. And a friend of mine had just interned at the station, and she said, I think you would love it. You would love the people, and I think you should go talk to them.
Huh.
So I did. I came and talked to you guys about it. And then the funny thing is I went and talked to the competition, who will remain nameless, because we don't talk about them. But and as like a 20-year-old, they made me cry at the other place.
They were mean?
They were terrible. Terribly mean. Like, terribly mean. And just high and mighty, kind of thing. And then I came to our stations, and everybody was so down to earth. And it's what the Radio Ranch Cast is all about, is that the people. I mean, we have some of the best people in Chattanooga working for our radio station. I mean, Scott and Kelly are, y'all are legends. And not only now, but we've had some amazing legends over the years that have gone on to do other great things, and some unfortunately have passed. But to me, that's the one thing about the radio station that's just amazing, and why I've stuck with it for 20 years. I never imagined 20 years later I would be still there, but I am, and love it every day, and enjoy the friendships I've made. And we say we're like family, and we really are like family.
So how was it when you got in the building and you started selling, you had a lot of training. I remember there were books and movies, and we popped.
Yeah.
I think some
audio tapes.
I moved a bunch of those out of my office before all this happened.
Just recently. Yeah. It was. I actually, since when I interned for a whole summer, and I did a little bit of everything. I wrote copy, the whole 9 yards, all aspects of the business. So when I came back, we were actually just about to get bought out by Cumulus. We were still Bloomington Broadcasting at that time. And I remember Chuck Wilkins threw the Cumulus training book to me, which was, about this fat. And he said, well, you've been through ours. Now go through theirs and tell me which one's better. And I was like, huh? What? But I did. I went through their training module and came back and told them that ours was much better. And just to throw that stuff out pretty much. Ours was better at Bloomington. And then the rest is history. Back then, I just sold for KZ. When I came on, I was just a one-station seller, and then eventually started selling for what was then the oldie station, GT 108. And then eventually, about 5 years ago, we combined all of our sales teams into one, and now we still sell all of our radio franchises as well as all our digital products as well.
So how is it getting out there and selling radio? Is it fun? Was it nerve-wracking to begin with? I mean, it's old now. You're seasoned.
Yeah, it was super nerve-wracking on the front end. I mean, I was 21 years old. The only thing I'd sold is a shirt at Target and a little bit of liquor at a liquor store. I mean, that was really the only thing I'd ever sold in my life. So for me to have to pick up a phone and cold call a business, for me, the biggest struggle was that I was young and I was calling on people who were much older than me at that point in time and trying to tell them how to build their business and grow their business. A 21-year-old trying to tell a 40, 50-year-old how to grow their business is laughable, So I really had to kind of up my game on the front end and learn from the best and take all of the good and the bad and kind of build my own way of doing things. And it's been super successful for me. I've loved it. It's been great. It's a great career. We're always looking for people who are interested in getting into radio on the sales side. There's nothing better to sell. We sell air, it's and it's entertainment. I think a lot of people forget that we're entertainers, not me, you guys are, but our entertainers just like,
We think you're kind of entertaining.
Hey,
We really do.
But I think you made a great point, though. And I don't know if Scott and Kelly, if you guys have had this kind of same feeling since you've been in radio a little bit longer, but I know when I got in, and I can have kind of sympathize and relate to the fact that you're going in younger and trying to relate to somebody so much older at that point in time. When I got into radio, I started doing classic rock at probably the age of in the late 20s. And I'm talking about bands that are in the business 25, 30 years and guys that and women that have seen them live and watched them play and grew up with them. And I'm trying to relate to these people. So I totally understand the feeling of going in and trying to impress somebody that's so much older than you and being intimidated by the fact that you may not know as much as they do. Even in advertising, there's got to be that as well, where you walk in and somebody's been, pitched so many times. They're pretty much giving you the delivery before you give it to them at that point in time.
I think the thing for me with advertising is you have to believe in your product and know that it's going to work. Whether you're selling vacuum cleaners, cutlery, pizzas, whatever it is that you're selling, you have to believe in that product and service. And I wholeheartedly know, I don't believe, I know that radio works for businesses. In 20 years, I have tons of success stories of people that, Scott was just talking to us about one today. Actually, it was Kelly that was talking to us about one of our clients today and how they will tell you that without radio, their businesses would not be what they are today. And to me, that's what I love, is watching those small businesses grow into bigger businesses and become, the person in that category, the go-to person in that category. And that's pretty amazing to know that radio can do that for a business. And that's what makes it special. And having our on-air personalities be able to endorse products and services and use them and love them and then tell that story on the radio, that's super powerful. It's no different than Michael Jordan selling Nike shoes or, Hanes underwear or whatever it is. It's just Kelly McCoy talking about Benton Shooter Supply or Scott Chase talking about North Georgia Reloading, or one of those businesses that we offer, that advertise on our stations.
Yep. I want to talk specifically about some of the things that you do now, some of the brands that we have to sell. Kelly McCoy, you and I have seen a number of different sales managers or directors of sales come and go. What do you think it is about Deanna that makes her so successful?
First and foremost, her personality. She's always bubbly. She's always in a great mood. She's very open. She's very honest, sometimes to a fault. but I think that as someone else who is also honest to a fault, I take that as a good thing. She's very buttoned up. She's our go-to proofreader in the building. So that's another thing. She just brings a ton of energy and a ton of excitement, and she doesn't meet a stranger. She truly does not meet a stranger. She becomes great friends with everybody, and is a great leader, and has really grown over the past 5 years amazingly. And we're all just incredibly proud of you, kid.
Oh, thank you so much. And I owe a lot of it to y'all. I really do. I mean, honestly, I feel like even Dodger, him and I, over the last couple of years, especially probably the last year, we've been thrown so many loops technologically and how to handle things. And I feel like I've grown more in the last 2 years, especially even probably in the last 10 months, having to adapt to this new, I hate to say the new normal, but the new normal that we're living in right now, and working from home, and me managing salespeople from home, and having department head meetings from home. And, all of those things that we've been dealing with, we've all had to learn how to pivot and still keep going and do business the same, but in a better and different way.
One of the things about Deanna is she's a crier. We're going to have big old tears. we'll have big old tears rolling down her face in just a little while, because we're going to do it. We're going to touch those emotions.
Y'all are so sweet to even ask me to do this, because I just feel like I'm a background.
Oh, whatever. You are
the puppet master in the background, I guess.
Your background, you're a loud background. I can tell you. You're boisterous, overpowering.
A very busy background.
Yeah.
The personality plus, man. There are a few of the salespeople. I mean, Ann Esslinger and I used to go out together, and we knocked it out of the park every time too. And there are a handful, and we have great. I'm not putting anybody down that we have right now, but there are a few that just stand out as, wow, we go out together as a team and just do it. And you're one of those, man. You all have been out with her on a sales call. It's just wonderful. You know your product. You're passionate about the product. And you know what you have to sell and know how to do it. Know how to make what we do work for people, and that works.
Well, and we have really great radio stations, and I mean, unique too, very unique, not only to the market but to the country. I mean, if you go to other markets and you listen to classic rock station, they're not going to sound like KZ106. We have a very unique station. I love the sound of it. It's been one of my favorites. I sent Kelly and Scott a message yesterday of me rocking out to I think it was Fleetwood Mac yesterday.
Julie and I couldn't figure out what song that was. Now,
Gypsy. It was Gypsy. Was it Gypsy? I think.
I don't remember. We couldn't figure it out, but
she's going to tell you she's listening to a different radio station.
All the words too. I don't know the words.
Really?
I don't know words.
You make them up as you go along, right, Scott?
I do, but you know the words, man. You know all the words to the song. Impressive. You really.
Hey, I've got a funny story about somebody not knowing the words. So, I love music, and I've got a 15-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. And I listen to the stations in the car, like all the time, And my son, when he was probably about 4 years old, was in the back seat. His name's Riley, and he was singing. It was Another One Bites the Dust is what he was singing. And he was sitting back there going, I never want to fight the dust. I never want to fight the dust, because he didn't know the words. And I think about that all the time when people say they don't know the words to songs. He was rocking out in the back seat, and he didn't want to fight the dust.
That chronic lyricosis.
Nobody wants to. So how was it moving? So you enter right out of school, and you have, I guess they give you a few. They don't give you much though to begin with, just enough to get by and make you hungry. So you grow, become our top producer in the building for a number of years in a row, and then you go from that position to the manager of some of the people that you've been working with. How was that transition?
It was different. It was definitely different. I had a great relationship with all of the salespeople on the team. Many of them had been selling with for 10 plus years. And so I talked to them about it before I moved to the position because I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with that. And for me, I think the one thing that helped me in that transition is that because I was our top seller, you know, I always say the proof is kind of in the pudding. And they were already looking to me for leadership. They were already coming to me for ideas, promotional ideas, sales ideas. If they couldn't find a manager, I was the next one that they came to, much like I did Ann Esslinger when she was there, and one of my favorite people in the world. Kelly and I love her to death. And so I really felt like I was kind of already a leader on the team. So that made the transition much smoother. Now, it was trial by fire because there is no director of sales training module in Cumulus. And I mean, 3.5 years later, I am still learning. I had never sold political in my life. There were so many things I had never done, and there was nobody to teach me how to do it. I just had to wing it. But we have a great team. I mean, Kelly helped me so many times. Dodger, Scott with promotion, the promotional side of things. And then Jim and Renee on the financial and the business side of things certainly helped me. And I had some great assistants along the way too. So it was hard, but I feel like I did it because, you know, I wanted to challenge myself. 18 years selling is a long time. And though I love it, I wanted something different. I needed something different in my life. Much like I'm sure you guys, and, you know, I know Scott, you said sometimes you like going on talk radio, or, you know, Dodger, you like going on KZ and playing tunes instead of on Nash or whatever. You know, sometimes you just want to challenge yourself a little bit and go out of your comfort zone and try something different.
As Bill Lockhart, who has been here almost as long as I have, says, we sell 30s and 60s. We do that since the beginning.
Yep.
That's what we do. We sell 30s and 60s. Your message, a snapshot, a short story about what you do and what you service provide, or what product that you have in 30s and 60s. But we also do much more than that nowadays.
Sure.
We have the endorsement program, as you just spoke of a second ago, where Kelly or myself or Dodger actually take on only a specific category. In other words, I have North Georgia Reloading, and that's it as far as that goes. And I might have a restaurant, or I might have, you know, in one category, and take care of it, embrace it, and don't take anybody on that we don't believe in. Which
Absolutely. That's the clincher, is that you guys will not take anybody on. So, I mean, you know, if somebody comes to us and says, well, I would love to have Kelly endorse me. And I mean, I'll be honest, I've had to go back to clients and be like, no, Kelly's not going to do that. But that's not for any reason other than maybe you just don't shop there or eat there or don't know anything about it. Or maybe you have a affinity for their competitor. I mean, for whatever reason, you know, so you guys will not do anything you don't believe in. And that goes back to what I said. That's why radio works, is because I believe in it. I know it works. You guys don't do anything that you don't believe in, and know that it's a great product or service that you're going to want someone else to partake in, that's a friend of yours or a listener of yours.
If I can't believe in it for myself, then I can't sell it on the air to anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have, you know, we're at the home of the Vols.
we are.
And, you know, this is going to be an exciting year. We've never had 10 SEC games. So I think everybody is itching for sports. I know I am. I know Dodger is itching for sports.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I am as well. Yeah. I've been watching a little bit of high school football, so I've been getting a little bit of a feel from that. But so we can, you know, you can be a sponsor of any of our Vols broadcasts. We also have Georgia and Titans on our talk station, and we also have high school football on our talk station. So those are certainly sponsorship opportunities there, which is a little bit unique. And with us not having that many people in the stadiums this year, a lot more people are going to be listening to those games on the radio. So it'll be a perfect way for businesses to get their name out to those listeners. You mentioned endorsements. We also have tons of promotions and different things that we can create, and digital elements too. You know, we're working on a new texting component, hopefully, that will come out soon. But websites and streaming and local display ads, over the top video. I mean, we have just about anything you can think of that would help your business grow and help you guys reach your target audience. So we've got a lot to choose from, and we're here to help you through that as, business owners.
Dodger, it runs for the most part our marketing, promotions, and our digital side. And there is much that can be had there. The ads on our website at kc106.com, on the screen, but it goes much further and much deeper than that, some of which I don't really have an understanding of at all. And that's when you walk into somebody's business, but they give you a little message, and it's pretty amazing what can happen nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little scary to some people, a little big brother-ish, but I mean, even to the point that if you wanted to, we call it geofencing. It's like putting an imaginary line around another business, your competitor's business, and then we can tell you everybody that visited that business and then deliver your ads to those people.
Sneaky.
The advancements in technologies that have come across, not only throughout the world and throughout everything, but of course with advertising as well, is certainly one of those interesting things. And a lot of people just are so overwhelmed by what's out there. And you guys do a great job walking people through that process. But I'm kind of wondering, though, over the years, from the beginning to now, what's one of those great success stories that you're most proud of over the course of time? I mean, you mentioned some clients that you've been with for a while or whatever. What's that big success story that you just sit there and kind of hang your hat on and say, I'm really proud of this and the way that we were able to put something together for them?
God, there's so many. I would probably say one of my biggest successes is, and she's actually sold the business now, so it's not even called this anymore. And that's how successful it was. She sold the business and moved on to, something even better. But was River City Property Management. She started with me probably about 15 years ago. And at that point in time, she was managing 50 properties. And she literally was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this advertising. I'm not sure how I'm going to afford it, but I know I need to do it if I want to grow. And so she reluctantly closed her eyes, signed that contract, and took the ride with me. And it started out small. And for somebody like me, I was a couple years in the business. I was going to take anything I could get, So started out really small. And then over the next 8 to 10 years, she grew it from 50 properties a month to over 1,500 properties managing. And the only thing that she used for probably the first 8 years was radio, and was our radio stations. Now, it was our whole group. It was KZ Talk, WGW 1150 AM, and Nash, which at that point in time, I think it even went through some transition from oldies to the Duke, maybe, because she started on early on with us. And then she ended up selling that company. A big corporation came in and offered her a great deal, and she sold the company and moved on to something else. But to watch her business grow from out of the back of her car, she didn't even have an office space when I first met with her. We met at Panera.
Wow.
And office space and bigger office space. And it was just amazing.
It's not,
just one success story. There's hundreds of them. Probably the best one, and Scott, you can probably tell this story better than anybody, is the barn nursery. I mean, he's done a lot of things, but Go Play in the Yard, that was radio driven.
It sure was. Yeah, it sure was, man. It was. A guy that started out with just selling tomatoes at a little stand, and grew, but his heart's in the right place, and he worked hard, and he had tremendous passion for what he did, and his customers, and his product. He did all the things right, including having the special message.
Right.
He did a great job.
And I think that's one of the things that really sets us apart from even our competitors in town, is that I can promise you that, our business owners that we work with, we care about them. Not just me as this, not even my salesperson, but me, Scott, Kelly, everybody in our building, we care about that client. We go shop at those clients. We tell people about them when we're at the water cooler or at the restaurant or whatever. We share it on social media. We wrap our arms around our business owners, not only just individuals, but as a company. And I think that's what really sets us apart at Cumulus versus, our other competitors in town and across the country, for sure.
Well said. Well said. Well, we love you, Dee. We do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for a lot of the people in the building.
Well,
I was rooting around for old photos on my computer while we were doing this, and unfortunately, I couldn't find any that would be perfectly embarrassing for the moment.
Hey.
No,
I found plenty of Scott, surprisingly enough, but
I hid all those. I have one of me and Rob Kalakis and Logan Carmichael, and it was about my second year in the business, and I looked 12 at a play remote. Yeah, exactly. That's about as far back as they go.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, the pigtails didn't help, but
I did look 12.
So somebody's watching this right now and they say, man, I want to know a little bit more about radio advertising and the like. How do they get in touch with you?
Sure. The best way is probably to call the office, leave me a voicemail. Obviously, we're not in the office. You can tell this is my house. But call the office and leave me a message. And then either I will call you back or have one of the reps call you back directly. And that number is 423-777-4629.
Cool.
That's probably the best way to reach us. And you can also call just the direct line too, and it just push the number for sales and you'll end up with me and we'll get you going on a great advertising plan.
And when you can't find somebody's number, you can always give them a Facebook message, can't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. A lot. We get those a lot. Facebook messages, people wanting to advertise and you know, it's great. And the other thing too is you guys share a lot with us. You know, people reach out to you. You know, Scott, you're out and about eating dinner. Hey, I want to advertise. Who do I need to talk to? And, you know, that's a great way too, is, you know, referrals if you know somebody.
Are there any slots left in Tennessee volunteer football and basketball right now that you?
There is a couple. There is not a lot. But we do have a few slots in Tennessee, a few in Georgia, and a few in Titans. We're finishing up that. We've got about 2.5 weeks till kickoff. So, well, on UT in Georgia. So we've got time to get you guys in those if you want. Or if you want Kelly and Scott telling your message, we can do that too.
Or Dodger. Don't forget him.
Dodger.
He's got a nice microphone.
He does.
Got a nice microphone.
I got to pay for this microphone somehow. Come on now.
I told you.
No, Dodger, I am not going to let you endorse Great Clips because I'm really starting haircut style here.
I'm starting to dig it, actually. It's kind of growing on me a little bit, literally.
It is truly
longer
growing.
than mine before long.
It is growing.
By the time we see each other back in studios and offices, yes, it might be rock and roll hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we appreciate you, Deanna. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly McCoy, Dodger, as always. KZ106, 1079 Nash Icon, our country station, and WGOW AM 1150, Talk Radio 102.3, WGOW FM. That's our Radio Ranchcast today. We'll unleash these Tuesday mornings around 9 o'clock or so. Watch them when you can. Listen whenever you get the hankering. We appreciate it. We'll see you.